So I know we've talked a bit about solicitations in the workplace, but I'm telling you, I think that people that are in MLMs would be fantastic corporate recruiters.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a
skill
job.
set.
Yeah.
Because they will fucking find you. So I got personal experience in this. When we first moved to Australia, a very well-known skincare MLM was launching in Australia. And they know what they're doing, their marketing end. They put up, a picture of a koala, a picture of the opera house on Facebook. Hey, everybody, do you know somebody in Australia? Who do you know? Tag a friend of a friend or send this to anybody you know in Australia. Well, I found out about this after I was like, what the fuck? I got in my Facebook DMs, I am not kidding you, and it was literally immediately when we had not been there 20 hours. And I got this thing, I'm in the temporary housing, jet lagged as
oh my
shit,
God.
like a 7-page thing. Hey, mate, from I have an opportunity for you. And I was like, and then I saw, they just kept coming. Hey, girl, I know you from, you're friends with this person. All hey, girl. And again, I'm like, you know me.
Hey, sis.
Yeah, sis, 100%. And I'm like, if you're going to say anything, be like, hey, bud.
Hey, sport.
It was like, in total, in just the first few weeks we moved there, it was literally just happened to be like the day we did 186 messages from different people.
Holy
Through my Facebook messages, or if I counted, because I was like, what?
Yeah, like this is getting insane.
What the heck? And I was like, I was moving with my family across the world. I was exhausted. I'm trying to set things up. I am not taking on, I have a yes face, which leads to why people might think this. But also it was like, I also had a job in the US. I had like 2 weeks before I started it. But I'm like, no, I have a job. Thank you. I appreciate this. But I knew almost multiple of the American women I knew that lived there, because everyone, sadly, including me, that was in Australia that I knew that was American, was there because of their husband's job. But so multiple of them all got involved in this MLM.
Oh my gosh. And then they were recruiting you.
Because in particular, they all lived in the same area. So they were kind of fighting each other. They were, and I was like, they were like the sharks and they're fighting themselves. I'm like the jets. And so I was in an area that there were not as many Americans. And so they were like, I would get messages. They'd be like, hey girl, I'd love to throw a party for all your friends and do these things. And of course I can't just ignore it, or I can, because I kind of know these people, but I'm like, oh God. And so anyway, I finally came up with my line that has served me very well since then.
Oh,
which I responded and I said, I totally appreciated it. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing, but I prefer not to commercialize my friendships.
Love it.
And that worked out very well for me.
Yeah.
And it was true. I mean, a lot more words behind it of I don't want to be in that position and have all my brand new Australian friends over who I don't know, who would be like American has selling me this American product and all of these things. It just made me very uncomfortable. And so if something in your gut, but in those situations, it's hard because that's the thing. But I will say it really did convince me that these situations that people in MLMs, and I know friends that I have friends that are in them, but that they should be corporate recruiters because they will
kill it.
Fucking honey badgers.
Honey. They're out there hustling.
Badgers. But anyway, that line has worked well for me. So if anybody's ever in that situation, you're not at work, so you can't lean on your no solicitation policy. You're in life. That's worked well for me.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's ever asked me to do shit. I'm from an MLM.
You're on there because when people in an MLM, and I've been in some of this, they'll make you make a list of like 10, 20, 100 people that they think would support you. I have to imagine people would know better than to put you on their list.
I mean, I definitely not gotten 186 in my lifetime.
I think I've been asked maybe once.
Oh my God.
But it was once too many for me. I'm like, I'm all set.
Yeah. I'm on a lot of lists.
Really?
A lot of people's.
I don't think I see. Okay, but you have like a lot of friends, and I think where Leigh and I are like, I have like one good friend.
Same. So if he's not asking me to be in an MLM,
it was a neighbor that asked me.
I know. Stop. I just have a yes space, and I've lived in a lot of places. That's my combo, to be honest with you.
And you have a lot of friends.
No, well, so anyway, but that situation, I just remember when I kept getting inundated after a while. After a while, I did get a bit snippy with some people. And I was like, candidly, I don't know you and I wouldn't reach out to you about my business. So I'd ask that you not reach out to me about yours.
Dang.
And that cut that off.
I think that's really cute how you even replied. I know, you know what I mean?
Why? Yeah, finally, I would just ignore and block.
Yeah, exactly. You got to, right? Oh my gosh.
Well, it's like I get Facebook friend requests like that. And I'm like, do I know this person? And then I look at mutual friends and I'll be like, I mean, I know like a couple, and then I look and I'm like, oh, they want to sell me something. I'm like, no, thank you.
Well, like in that Facebook and my personal Instagram is something I've always been very guarded about. I think I only have like 200 Facebook friends because like I literally keep it inner circle people like that. I would genuinely talk. Most of actually our family, but I don't. For that very reason, like I don't care that we hung out one night. And you like, I'm not gonna. I'm not.
A great night, but
Facebook friend. I'm
not going to. I'm not. Like, I'm just not. And I guess because I want to keep, especially now that I've been doing social media for almost 4 years. It's like I want to keep my personal life private. Like, yes, I might talk about like my children or my husband, but you're not going to be my friend on my private.
Yeah.
So you're not going to ask me to join your MLM.
No. But anyway.
I don't even have private socials.
Yeah. You just have the manifesto.
I guess I don't even have an outlet for people to MLM me.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm trying to think, like, why is no one asking me to sell leggings or skincare?
Oh gosh, yeah.
There's a good documentary. There's a great documentary
so good.
that Lula wrote one. I know. Well, my mom did get me a pair of those that lasted for. I mean, I just covered those like recently. I've had those for 7 years. But
they're buttery soft.
Oh my god! But that documentary.
I never actually owned a pair.
It's terrifying.
But the documentary said that. So.
Terrifying.
It's that time of the year. Your vacation is coming up. You can already hear the beach waves, feel the warm breeze, relax, and think about work. You really, really want it all to work out while you're away. Monday.com gives you and the team that peace of mind. When all work is on one platform and everyone's in sync, things just flow. Wherever you are, tap the banner to go to Monday.com.
Well, on that note, right? I guess we will transition and kick off this meeting. Quick rundown of our agenda today. Let's see. We are going to start with some cringe corporate speak, and that is going to be brought to us by Jamie. And then we will transition into our hot topic today, which is all about green flags in the workplace. Yes, believe it or not, there are some great things that happen at work, some feel goods, right? Some leaders and people just doing wonderful things out there. We have experienced that. So shout out to all that. We'll talk about some of those things today. And then, of course, before our hard stop, we will move into some questions and comments. We got to make sure we get those in before we close, before Jamie's hard stop.
Jamie leaves us. She's going
before
to the bathroom,
Jamie sneaks out.
She left, and we see her peeling away in the parking lot.
I do love a good Irish exit, an Irish goodbye.
Do.
That is my thing.
Them.
They used to call me in college. They used to call me Phantom Fro, my maiden name.
Yeah.
Because you're just in and out. You'd like,
no, I would never say bye to anyone. I would literally I'd be like,
disappear.
Yes. Phantom Fro is what they called me.
Oh gosh. Well, a good thing to know, right? Mentally note that about Jamie.
Right.
When I wanted to go home, I wanted to go home.
For real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we all do.
Jamie, kick us off, please. What's our cringe corporate speak?
Our cringe corporate speak today is off the rails.
Oh.
So I know I'm guilty of definitely using this in meetings, or even like when I'm counseling an employee and they start going off the rails and I'm like, all right,
you're going off the rails.
You're going off the rails, bitch.
It tends, whenever someone's having an episode and they're not doing so well, it's really
they love to hear that.
They love that.
Tell them you're going off the fucking rails. Reel it in.
You need to calm down.
Oh yeah. No, that has never worked well for me.
I love that.
It also with spouses, it does not work so well for my husband when he suggests.
Yes, same thing. Husband, take note. He has. My husband has unfortunately told me that.
Really?
I need to calm down and.
You're going off the rails?
Yeah, and
he's used cringe corporate speak on you?
Oh yeah, for sure. But I definitely.
But in his defense, I was going off the rails.
Yeah, or someone tells you to take it down a notch.
Oh yeah,
I can guarantee
I go up
I'm gonna
75 notches.
Don't fucking try to denotch me.
Yeah,
no.
That's right.
But off the rails. So let's try to sneak that into today's episode.
Trains.
I mean, it's trains.
It's trains.
I know, but I'm
like you want to stay on track.
Well, yeah.
So you're on a track as a train.
And if
watch some dark history about it. Because to me,
like
it's like, for real, you know? It's like someone whipped their dick out and whatever, like something all dark.
You know what, though? I will say the origin was from Sir Walter Scott in 1828. He used this in a letter, and he said, the Duke of Clarence has gone off the rail completely. And that's it. So the Duke,
they lost their marbles?
Yeah, that's right.
Kind of the same,
it
right?
is, but it is. It's trains, which makes sense.
It does, right? Because we're on the track.
Yeah.
And now we're just off the rails.
Yeah.
Which are
or off
tracks.
The chains in my case. Okay.
Off the rails.
Yeah.
I don't really use that one. I can't think of a time I have.
I've definitely seen
I haven't really heard it up. Well, that's
derail.
different.
Yeah. It's not. It's the same. Derails off the rail.
Yeah, I know, but it's not off the rails.
As a person. Yeah, generally saying anybody's like, you're not doing what I expect you to do does not work out. So
they don't
you just
like
better
that.
just pick back up another day. Just circle back on that.
Exactly. Yeah, they don't like that. But what do they like? Wonderful transition to green flags.
I'm wearing a green
workplace,
shirt too.
You are a green HR baddie shirt.
Yeah, didn't even plan it.
Shout out, right?
It's good.
So, we talk a lot about red flags and our contents, right? I mean, people on social, they like to focus on that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
In their defense and our defense, it is a lot of what it is going on.
Here we are.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, but sometimes things go right at work, so I'm curious, kick us off perhaps on, something green that you've seen at work. Do we want to talk about green flags of managers, like wonderful manager behaviors?
I think any manager that is supportive, and I know I use this a lot, but I cannot tell you how much flexibility is taken for granted in so many places. And I'm constantly reminding leaders, but having managers that are flexible with me and trust psychological safety. I mean, these are just a few green flags that are coming top of mind that are probably some of the most important things I look for if I'm looking for a new job.
Yeah. I love it when leaders are like, I do not need to approve your vacation. Yeah. Like you take vacation when you need to. Yeah. Just let me know. Just let me know so I don't bother you. Love that. To me, that is the brightest green flag, literally just make me aware because I don't want to bother you at all, And so just put it in my calendar. Totally fine. Always approved. You do you and what you need to do. And I'm totally supportive of that,
And the coworkers, I know I've talked previously about when you take vacation, then that's okay. Your leader supports it. But is your leader going to do your work while you're on vacation? Sometimes they will. And sometimes that's a great trait of a manager if you can help out and do that so that things are less busy. But also as a manager, a lot of people aren't going into management because it can feel so daunting. And so if you have a full workload and then are doing everyone's work when they're taking vacation and all that, it can be overwhelming. And so some of it as a manager is teaching people to tell people it's going to be later. So people don't just feel like they have to, work extra before and after the vacation. So they're actually working as much, just not during. But some of that is also those coworkers of from the green flag of having coworkers that you trust. I've mentioned the coworker I had where we were both in legal and again, had access to each other's email and she would fill in for me and I'd fill in for her.
That's cool.
And so
that is cool.
I remember going on vacation and not taking my laptop and I tried to respond to something and she was like, girl, I got this. Please.
Don't you dare.
She's like, you better not send me anything other than this was selfies weren't a thing there, but I think a picture we were going skiing. And so it was a 4-day trip or it wasn't even long. Other than sending me a picture of the skiing and that, I will never forget that because I came back and we caught up on things and she'd copied me on things or forwarded me things. So I knew, so again, I didn't come back and try to just jump back into the work and there wasn't a miscommunication, but it's that level, having the combination of when you've had a manager that supports you and colleagues you can trust and you enjoy working with those people. For me, that is lightning in a bottle. But it comes down to communication and trust for me. It's across all demographics, ages, all of those things. I think it's the baseline of communication and trust and fostering that within your team. Ooh. magical shit.
Mm-hmm. That is beautiful. And it really does leak over to more like morale, engagement, right? When you have those, you feel so much more comfortable doing things with the team, whether it's lunch or events or whatever, right? You actually get to a point where it's like, oh my God, I actually like these people. I want to do things with these people. How weird is that?
You do.
You know what I mean?
I was in legal, which we would joke because we would
do we like each other?
Our boss would be having a shitty day and we'd be like, let's all go look at a good YouTube and laugh. And we'd be cracking up over something literally dumb, but we'd laugh about that. But also I was in legal and so we'd say there's a lot of darkness that comes in. You got to bring the light. Mm-hmm. But we would also bring that level to the people we worked with. A lot of times people called us really with HR type of questions, but we would have conversations and I wasn't let me quote this paragraph of the handbook. I'd be okay. And I would talk much like I talk to you all. And I'd be they'd be well, this person, I'd be okay, well, there's a reason that you're where you are and they're where they are and they're starting their career. They don't know the things you know and they haven't been enlightened and they're not talking to educated professionals like us. And we're laughing and I'm okay, so let's meet them where they are and think about shit. And they'd be oh my God. And at the holidays, we would get gifts and shit like that. And we'd be but all that, what I remember is that feeling of we did good work. We had so much fun. We were award winning, that department. We won an award.
Ooh, shout out.
Yeah, that's right. But I just remember this feeling of that exactly bled over into who I was and the level of professional support I brought. And it really, it was phenomenal.
It makes a difference in the workday, doesn't it? Because to that point, I remember being so close with a particular HR team in my career that we would host, and lead big events and we would, decorate the office like crazy, Halloween threw up in there or whatever, you know what I mean? We would and we would come together doing those things and everyone was participating and it was just neat. Typically there may be onesie twosies where they don't want to engage and that's why. No, this was just a high powered, the team was in rhythm and in sync and, what an awesome office, to actually, enjoy each other while working. What the heck?
I know. I actually don't mind going to work.
What?
I think also, the big joke on social media is Sunday scaries, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I've had jobs where I don't have Sunday. I didn't actually dread going to work.
Tell me about that. Expand, please.
Yeah,
say more.
Say more.
Where you actually, not only do you enjoy the work you're doing, you feel like maybe you're making a difference or you're making an impact, but you also enjoy the people you're working with. And you, I think another thing is transparency, right? I'm talking from the leaders down, right? And I think those are always the companies the places that I have been the most successul because I have felt safe to be myself. Mm-hmm. I'm a little bit off the rails.
Yeah.
And I am a big personality and I always have been. And I don't want to shush anyone for having a personality and I don't want to be shushed or shunned. So feeling safe to be myself, but have everyone feel safe to be themselves in a work environment.
This episode of HR Besties couldn't exist without the help of sponsors like Yahoo Finance. When it comes to your financial future, you think you've done it all. You've saved, you've researched, you've invested all that you can. Now you need to take those investments to the next level by using what every financial great uses. Yahoo Finance. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or are looking for that extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need in one place. I don't do numbers, but thankfully, Yahoo Finance does. With a community of over 90 million users each month, their real strength is helping you on your way to financial success. For comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com, the #1 financial destination. yahoofinance.com, that's yahoofinance.com.
This weekend, I have family coming in town. And for the record, I love my family. When they come,
I try to have plenty of wine on hand for us to celebrate with. And they each like different types, which is why I use First Leaf. As America's most personalized wine company, First Leaf takes any worry or guesswork out of buying quality wines. To get started, you just go to First Leaf's website and answer specific questions about your or your guests' wine likes and dislikes. It only takes about 5 minutes. And then you have your own personalized wine profile. And your very own wine concierge uses your responses to make a customized selection of delicious award-winning varieties, like rosé to sparkling to anything in between, all based on your preferences. So those wines get delivered to your door within a few days, and you can pick when you get them. And each bottle is priced lower than what you pay at a wine store. And each selection is backed by First Leaf's 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you have any questions, like what do I pair them with? First Leaf's wine concierge team is there to offer expert advice. I love reconnecting with family and friends over bottles of First Leaf wine, and I bet you'll feel that way too. So give First Leaf a try. Head over to tryfirstleaf.com/HRBesties to sign up and save 50% on your first 6 hand-curated bottles, plus free shipping. That's tryfirstleaf.com/HRBesties to save 50% on your first 6 bottles plus free shipping. Try firstleaf.com/HRBesties.
Well, I've been in organizations where I would not say that the leadership had the same type of like fun and mirth that like my department had, even if I was in legal or HR. And at times that can be really hard. And it's really hard, I think, for the leader of that department. I'm like, how do you balance that and the pressure? Am I going to be judged for like laughing and doing these things and treating my team differently? But I think a lot of times as a leader, one of the things you can do is figure out like, what can I do within the bounds to like, and I think sometimes people will say, you know, what if you're in an organization that has shitty policies? And we've had some comments or things on that about going to God and running. And there's sometimes that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
And that's always an option. And sometimes the right one, often the right one maybe, but sometimes it's like, okay, where can we have flexibility? And even like in HR, you know, one of the biggest things, and I know we've talked about this, and we've all done it, is to influence, to change policy, to show why things don't make sense. And there's a lot of ways you can do that from that business sense, but sometimes it's even saying amongst your team of like, all right, this is what we're going to do, and having that manager. Like I love when people talk about like retail managers in particular that will say like, there may be somebody from corporate that's coming that's like a pain, you know, that visit. And they'll say, what am I going to do? They'll say today, like, we are doing things, and there's times where we like this corporate policy doesn't make sense, and I can't influence this. We don't have to do it today. We're gonna have to do it, and we're gonna have to. And today I'm gonna, you know, we're gonna have. But like I got you, and I'll influence what I can.
Together.
Yeah, this together, and having that. And so I think a lot of times those field-based environments, like you really have a lot of opportunity to do what it takes, and telling your team like, okay, look, today we're gonna need to like stand a little bit straighter and, you know, just we all stay employed and get that bonus. But, but it's like finding what you can do to flex things a little bit and give some of that grace and space.
I'd say a big glaring parade of green flags for me, you know, our organizations, because I'm thinking about the green flags, you know, in places I've worked before, those that put resources, time, effort, definition around communications. Yeah. That is so important, because I've been a part of a lot of toxic workplaces, a ton of toxic workplaces and departments and teams and whatever. And, you know, I can always connect that toxicity back to the lack of information. Right? Like it always comes back to that. And in the absence of information, what do people do? They assume the worst and they start gossiping. They start filling in the blanks. They start weaponizing, and they start weaponizing gossip. And then they're hoarding information but it's all around information, because really information is power, right? Like, and that is so not cliche. That's literally the truth. And that is collateral and currency in a workplace, right? And so green flags, you know, and some of the places that I've worked are those where you really feel this connection to the leadership. They're out there. They're, you know, they're boots on the ground, right? To quote a previous Cringe speak, right? They're connecting with employees, like, you know, they're present, they're approachable, like as all get out, right? And they're doing things like all hands, newsletters, emails, like, they're just, you could ask them anything. Then that there's some authenticity and genuineness in their answers, and no one has to guess what's next for the business. Everyone knows what the business even mission is, or where we're going goals wise. All that shit is so important. Otherwise, everyone's just making everything up, and then they're weaponizing it like crazy to get ahead.
I think that's also super important for HR professionals. You said authenticity. I think that's why I've been so successful at my roles, is because I am authentic. And I think that's when you gain the trust of employees, and we understand that HR is demonized. We still hear it daily on our TikToks and our social media channels, but there are good ones out there. And we try to be authentic, and we truly are there to be employee advocates. Those are the big green flags too, is when you have any HR issue, is having to really feel like your issue will be taken care of because that person listened. You feel heard. Like I had someone earlier this week come in and they were upset and they were venting to me. And I said, I stopped her and I said, hey, I just really want you to know, I really appreciate you telling me this. And she started to cry. Like she didn't feel like she could tell anyone this piece of information. I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like I genuinely appreciate, because I can't fix it if I don't know about it.
Yes. It is so true. And it takes so much, like the trust you establish by having this genuineness of character.
Yeah.
Look how far that goes to where someone felt safe to come to a scary office up front or wherever to talk to HR, which is stereotypically scary. And that's huge.
With big old bad HR. Yeah.
It's huge. That's a major green flag that she felt safe to do that,
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
The last one I can think of is really autonomy, which is about meaning, like making decisions to do things. And one, there's that kind of is bookended on two things. Before that, you have to have the training to know,
of course,
training and communication to know what's expected of you. What does your job entail? What are your goals at the end of the day? But then also being able to go and plan your day and do things and make decisions and be able to ask for help when you need it. Get that feedback so that you may get those pointers that you may not be seeing, that feedback that you need without micromanagement. But then also when you do something, if things go right, oh my, this is great. The celebration of that. Yeah, how can we spread this around? And then things go wrong, which they will sometimes. The feeling in the pit of your stomach shouldn't be worse than what really is happening. And so that it's okay. I mean, I've had that conversation so many times with people that I've been managing. And the best thing I've had is people generally, when they make a mistake, they come to me and we talk about it and they're not afraid.
Exactly.
Because they know. I'm like, just knowing, okay, all right, that's all right. We'll learn from it. Oh, there's financial ramifications. We will figure it out. But you know what? It's also a lot less ramifications than we'd have if you never did anything at all. And so I just think that autonomy and trust, giving those boundaries, there's so many things. And you notice in the theme on these is a lot of things. We're not talking about budget and resourcing. These are things that are completely free for people to do. Yep. And so bringing some of those in, it can be hard. And if you've been a leader and you haven't been doing these things, or you've seen managers not doing that, you can't flip it all overnight. But working on these things, I just think creates places that people want to stay and do good jobs.
Yeah, like you mentioned a word there that I think is another big green flag, and that's celebration.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Taking the time to actually enjoy successes, wins, celebrating, having some levity, the gratitude and appreciation back. That is a massive green flag that a lot of organizations, sadly, they do not take time to do. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, we got this $50,000 million jabillion dollar deal. Good for us. And let's just keep on going. Yeah. Gosh, what about all the people that made that happen? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like there's the Sephora example. The Sephora example that was a couple months ago where they hit whatever billion in revenue. Yeah. And they sent everybody a stale sugar cookie. And on one semblance, it was better than nothing.
True.
Yeah. But it's when you have that level of target, and again, there's a ton of, but having it and being that genuine levels of recognition, and it's, I think, and because one of the things I've seen lately on social media, and we talk about this sometimes, it's like, pay people. And compensation is fair compensation, and is really needed at work, and incentive compensation and paying people. But rarely can you pay someone enough to compensate for a workplace where people feel worse about themselves by working there. Yeah. And pay is not the only component of a job. And everybody, and also, we have things when people say, nobody at work wants anything other than pay. Well, that's actually
that's not true.
That's not true. And saying that comes from, I've seen people that have been in leadership positions saying that. I've made videos talking about that. I think that comes from a place of privilege. That's also not realizing there are people that have their identity in what they do, not their identity, but they take a lot of pride in it. And for them, they want to have an experience where they feel good at work. And the choices shouldn't be to get paid or get respected. You should be able to do both. And some people want to take part in the things like the celebrations and have like the food, like you talk, like building that sense of community. Like your life, work is a part of your life. But a lot of times people can choose to make that aspect of their life a really good one, where people remember that. So
a green flag is connection.
Yes. Good.
It is beyond pay. It's really a connection, right? I mean, because that's what inspires like great work, and it gives people purpose and the opportunity for impact. People really do want connection. They don't want to work make a ton of money in isolation, you know what I mean, without guidance or a goal or whatever, you know. And so that is really key. But that is a huge green flag when an employer can provide that,
Yeah, but do not make me do it after work hours. Celebrate me while I'm getting paid for this shit. You know what I'm saying?
But I think, but some of it is like also making it like having some of those opportunities for things, but having it optional, but truly optional, so people don't feel pressure. Like some of these things, like I know teams I've seen that have had like parties and they'll have like a red carpet and sometimes their partner, their spouse comes along and they dress up and there's people that is, or you have like the weekend, like people like this video I saw, people don't want to do carnivals. Well, you know what? I've actually been to amusement parks and people take their kids and they love that because then their kids see the coworkers' kids and they may see them twice a year and these kids are running around. They consider them friends. And I've seen the value that those people have. We'll just pay people more so they can arrange themselves. Well, they're probably not going to do that. And so you can pay people appropriately, but also those events, there's times when that can be a real moment for people. So having that optional to have no touch at all on people's promotion or things like that. But it's discounting it's like, the value of that is a huge miss.
It's like when the companies that have the happy hours that are like, you're voluntold to go to happy hour, but I've got to get all the way back to my part of town before 6 o'clock when daycare closes. Like I can't go to voluntold happy hour time.
Totally agree.
But I can think of a company I worked for where we did an employee picnic on a Saturday or Sunday, and we would provide each employee 4 tickets to a water park. And we had a common tent that you could all put your shit down. And we had a buffet that ran for 2 hours.
Exactly.
But you weren't forced to interact with anyone.
Right.
You would come eat your lunch, but really everyone and their families were
going having a day.
Yeah, they're having a day. And that was honestly perfect because it was a day that families could all come together and you could interact, but you also didn't have to, and you got food for it. And that was...
I've done that at sports games like that. When they have in everybody, it's not just, I don't like it also when it's like only the senior leaders.
Don't get me started on that.
So when you have things, and so this was open to everybody truly and their families, but we were like a huge, like sweet thing at the Braves game and like pay people. And okay, well, even if I got paid however much that costs, like I'm not going to spend my money on that. But when we went, same, like my colleagues and their kids and it was a total blast. And I chose to do that. And I think it's great. Other people may not. But I just think you can tell when people have had really shitty work environments when they're like, you can't trust anybody at work. I never want to see my coworkers. I don't want to do anything at work ever with any of my coworkers. And I can understand completely why people would say that. But I think when people are in that situation where for the first time they have that connection and trust at work and enjoy what they're doing, it can absolutely change your life.
Yeah. And it all starts with one step. So it's like you have to, so if you're out there and you're listening and you're like, gosh, well, I did something and it was a big bomb and everyone was just like, why didn't you just give us this? Or why didn't you do this? Yeah. You know what? Just try it again. Yeah. Right. I mean, you warm them up to this, you know what I mean? Like you keep going, right? Keep inspiring people, keep trying to build that connection, right? Keep appreciating, keep showing gratitude, even if they're not showing it to you, because there is someone whose lives you did change. The kids and the family that would never be able to get to the water park, would never be able to carve that time or that payout or whatever, right? I mean, you gave people experiences and feelings that meant a lot, so pat yourself on the back. Don't let that one person that was like, I hated the food, because there's always that person.
Always that person. Ass.
So do not worry about that. You know what I mean? Like, please, don't let that deter you from continuing to create green flag experiences in your workplace, right? Those green flag experiences are totally worth fighting for and doing, regardless of the naysayers in the bunch, so it'll be okay, right? It'll work out, there'll be a whole bunch of people loving it and, never having whatever opportunity or experience that you're providing there. So kudos to you if you're a manager or an HR person out there that's investing your time in those things. Hello, besties. Things are heating up. That's right. We're moving into summer, and you know what that means. That means goodbye warm weather clothes and hello cute summer attire. At least that's what it means for me. Well, luckily I found Quince, and now I've got all sorts of cute pieces to get me through the summer. Got a couple cute t-shirts. I've got these really adorable silk scrunchies, all bougie, I know. But get this, the best part about Quince is all of their items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. That's right. I'm talking cute linen dresses, blouses, and shorts from $30, washable silk tops, timeless gold jewelry, and so much more. So get warm weather ready with Quince. Go to quince.com/HRBesties for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/HRBesties to get free shipping. And 365-day returns. Quince.com/HRBesties. Enjoy.
Summer is setting in and the days are getting longer, but don't let the added sun get in the way of your sleep cycle. Restore your zen with our partner Via Hemp. Trusted by over 250,000 customers, Via Hemp's products are the Swiss Army knife of wellness. From setting the mood in the bedroom to chilling out after a long day, Via has something for you. Their Rest and Recovery line of gummies offers a unique blend of passion flower, L-theanine, and cannabinoids to promote sleep, pain relief, and relaxation for some daily tranquility. With both THC and THC-free gummies, Via has a dosage to encourage your comfort. Restore your routine and live your best life with your support of Via. Via also offers a wide array of other gummies with or without THC, ranging from 0 to 100 milligrams. They offer the same range of potencies for each effect. Whether you're a 2 milligram or a 50 milligram user looking for potentially improved sleep, focus, or recovery, Via has something for you. You can shop through their website by strength or effect, and the best part, Via legally ships to all 50 states in discreet packaging directly to your door, worry-free, guaranteed, no medical card required. So if you're 21 and up, you can get 15% off plus a free pack of award-winning gummies with our exclusive code BESTIES at viahemp.com. That's VIIAHEMP.com. So I've actually personally been loving the Zen gummies. Those are CBN and CBD gummies, and they're THC free. I love to pop one after a long day of HRing to just kind of take the edge off. Head to viahemp.com and use code BESTIES to receive 15% off and one free sample of their award-winning gummies. Member 21 and up. That's via VIIA hemp, HEMP.com, and use code BESTIES at checkout. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Enhance your everyday with Via Hemp.
All right. Well, gosh, I just feel like so uplifted after a green flags conversation. Oh my God, I spend most of my time in the red flag space.
I feel like a winner.
Teaching people how not to be. Oh, well, to that point, let's transition because we do have a hard stop to some questions and comments. What do we got?
I had a question, but I feel like it might bring us down. I was going to ask, what is your biggest red flag? Not necessarily that you've experienced per se, but what would you say is your biggest red flag in a company?
Yeah, I've shared a lot of my red flags, but I'd say, just a kind of a funny one, kind of a cheeky one is I worked at an organization and it was remote. And so for the first time I got to visit the workplace. And when I visited that workplace, the headquarters for the first time, I noticed that they had an employee of the month wall. And I thought, how great is that there's an employee of the month wall, until I looked more closely and it was the CEO's picture in every single month on that wall.
Ain't no fucking way.
Yes, I promise I have photos of it. And that was him because sociopathic narcissist, just, being a cheeky fuck, just a very rude, cheeky fuck. You know what I mean? So... yeah, we didn't really get along. We didn't really. Yeah,
I'm appalled.
We didn't go far, and nor did he.
Not surprised.
Right, I can see it. I can see it so perfectly.
And honestly, I've worked at places where we've had employee of the month, and all the nominations get put up, but the person who actually picks them is the fucking CEO, and she has her favorites.
Yeah. See, I was surprised that you even had nominations for that process. I was like, well, typically it's just a leader picking.
Honestly, employee of the month.
Well, they always we joke about it because they always leave. Like it was like the trigger.
Exactly.
Like it was like we had like 4 in a row where like the people left. We're like, oh geez,
I'm just not a huge fan of them.
But for years, the same person.
Yeah. I like it when it's. I like it for the.
As long as he thought it was funny, I guess. Gross.
My red flag is the phrase. This isn't a 9 to 5. Like disparaging 9 to 5. Like in interviews when people are, well, this isn't a 9 to 5. Well, okay. Was it 8:45 to 5?
Yeah. Like, what are we talking
That's
here?
I don't like when just people disparage, because to me that tells me a lot about your respect for work-life boundaries and the way that, all of that. So I don't like it. So if people say that, which I think about, okay, why not? What's the problem with that? And curiously, so
I think this one is a hard to spot it. Like per se in the process, you have to be already unfortunately employed with the company but to have a micromanager.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
God, that's really the worst. I mean, like who's stalking your team status?
It's like they get message the team and then call. Did you get my email?
Yeah.
Well, how'd you do that? Why would you do it that way?
That always
that's terrible.
It's a real buzzkill,
Yeah.
What do you got, Ashley?
Well, I was just wondering, what like a good work event that you did, like a neat, interesting, event that you went to.
We used to do back in the day, another employer, rent out a water park, a very big water park, famous water park. I think the largest in the world, or it's up there, Schlitterbahn in Texas.
Okay.
It's huge. It's massive and it's expensive. We'd rent that out for the day and just have like the entire company there, which was a 6-figure sort of event.
Yeah. Right.
And of course, to the previous conversation, people are like, oh, well, why can't we all just get $500 bonuses? Well, actually, you all do get that too, at the end of the year. Right. Yeah. But we are about trying to create connections and experiences and opportunities for people. And there would be employees crying, right? Like people with like 8 kids. Like they would never have access to that. Literally grown men crying. Thank you so much that I got to gift my family this.
Yeah, it's a cool.
It makes me tear up.
It is, but it's true. It is. I remember to this day. I've told you when I grew up, like both my parents finished their bachelor's degrees. Like we were not doing a lot of things like that, and when we got to do something, even like a minor league baseball game, something like that, or see them, like it is a big win for sometimes your kids to see that and see how you're respected at work, or here. And if you're a leader, when you see your family members at those events, tell your employees' kids something you're proud of about their parent Oh my God, I have tears.
Oh, I know.
I saw that. I was saying my dad had just retired recently, and people talked about the things that he did, and it was like,
oh yeah,
oh my God, like it was amazing.
I know. So it gives that opportunity for that, and it's creating connection, connectivity between employee and their families that are the most meaningful most of the time to them, and their workplace, and it's making it personal, and this is called psychology. Okay. I bring my nerd background here. It's a thing, and it's worth investing in. It absolutely is.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Still makes me tear up, though.
So I had worked at a radio company, and I'm a huge fan of the band AWOL Nation. They sing Sail, like da-da-da, Sail, yeah. And I, on 2 occasions, had tickets to their concert and didn't get to go. One, I had tickets and I had to get my wisdom teeth out, and so I was all fucked up, couldn't go. The second, I had tickets, went to the concert. My friend tried to go in. I bought them on StubHub, and they were like, no, these tickets were already scanned. I later found out from StubHub, they're like, no, you should have called us. We can get you into, but the people at the door didn't tell me. They're like, these are fake tickets. I'm like, I literally bought them on StubHub, and StubHub actually did a very nice job of making it right. And so if you ever have this happen, call your ticket broker. Anyway, but I was so bummed. And so I talked to this guy at work, and I was like, I'm a huge fan. And so one night he was like, oh, we're going to do this work dinner. I'm like, okay. And he's like, all right, meet here at the bar. So I go, and I hadn't realized. So I walk up into this bar, and he's sitting there with Aaron Bruno, who's the lead singer of AWOL Nation. And AWOL Nation was performing in Atlanta at this like, and it wasn't like a AWOL Nation festival. It was like a Atlanta Private festival. It was like an Atlanta festival. So I hadn't realized like whatever. And so we were at the bar, and so of course he's like, "This is our lawyer," and of course I'm such a dork. I don't know, it would have been worse than lawyer or HR. I mean, just say I'm in marketing or like an intern. I was like, whatever. But we sat there, and so we had less of an awkward conversation as I was afraid. But it was awesome. So I had a picture with him, and so then we went to the we got to go see the AWOL Nation concert, and I love AWOL Nation. And so that was like, to me, which is like a work, like, just very thoughtful. And he knew how special that was.
That is very cool.
That was totally
very thoughtful.
I know. It was very, I love that when people pay attention.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. And like, because I'd been in his office, and he knew I'm a big music person.
Can any of y'all pull strings to let me meet little Kim?
Yes.
I know, right?
Sure, I'll do whatever.
Or Megan the Stallion, please.
Oh gosh, I know. Mentally noted.
Leigh will do that. She's good at the mental notes.
Let me slide into some DMs.
Very
all right. Well, no questions for me, but just a couple quick comments. The first is, obviously we're talking about events. That's a great question. Show appreciation to the people that are organizing and coordinating the events. Spoken as someone who has done that, it is actually a shit ton of work. And I can see people in my mind shaking their heads.
Yes. You hear so much of the negative, and this is what went wrong.
Keep it to your fucking self, okay? Or roll it in some sugar with your feedback. Don't just bitch. Give something constructive. You know what I mean? True. Because people, this is part of our livelihoods, right? Is we build experiences and connections, right? Across the entire employment journey. And so when you're degrading and when you're a big dick like that, boy, does it actually sting, and it hurts. And I've had colleagues cry, and I just feel, oh gosh, so, just give some shout out and appreciation for, people doing some of that, on your teams, because it is definitely,
it's a lot of work.
It is so much work.
And it takes months of planning.
Yeah. Months and months, almost a year sometimes, depending on the event. Like, it can be a lot, right? And then the other quick comment that I had is, if you do see and recognize green flags in your workplace, like, call them out. You know what I mean? Because then they will perpetuate, what I mean? Reinforce it and give it some love and be like, oh my gosh, what a green flag. Look at you. I know we always talk about red flags, but what a green flag. Like, please continue that. Love that behavior for you. Yeah, right? That. I mean, and that's culture. Yeah. Right? Culture is just a collection of accepted behaviors. And so when you start reinforcing all the good things, then you will see the returns of the good things. And it is a beautiful thing when you see the returns of the great. And so that will come. You can build that green flag workplace you've always dreamed of.
I love that. Awesome.
Oh, I love that for us. Oh, what a positive, like, oh gosh, you know, I feel like I'm on a little cloud.
Come back next time.
Next week on HR Besties.
The worst thing, you'll never believe strike.
Exactly.
You'll never believe what happened next.
Dum, dum, dum. I love that segue. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And to that point, we'll head off to our next meeting so that you can too. Thanks for joining us.